Hello, TJ here, and I'm a producer for a bunch of projects. But I'm going to be doing the review for the trailers for the Butterfly project. Okay, so this is going to be only pertaining to the trailers for the Butterfly project, and it's going to be for Patrick's staying. So if it doesn't pertain to you, you can watch it and just for context and everything. But this is going to be strictly for that. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do. Go to my Resilio folder, and here's where I have. Okay, so obviously we should all be using Resilio Sync, and I have the key for that folder. And all the editors should have their own folders in here. But so in Patrick's folder is where I'm going to go and get the latest Butterfly promo here. Now he's on 3, or you're on 3. Kind of the way that the versioning should work is like there were 2 versions of the promo at first, and so I think the appropriate thing to do is have promo 1 and then promo 2, and then if you make improvements on that, then we should be seeing it advance to 2.2 or 1.2, and as long as it's the same version that's just improving, it should be improving like this. So 1.2, the next version should be 1.3, and these are the notes for the promos, the version 1 promos. So we should have been going from 1.2 to 1.3 in this case, or on the second version from 2.2 to 2.3 in this case. Now, since you named it version 3, I'm just assuming it's a completely different, or should assume, I've seen it already, I should assume that it'd be a completely different version. But if this is just an improvement on one of the first 2 versions, then what should happen is it should have the title 1.3 or 2.3, depending on what it is. But there were a bunch of new things in there, so it could be its own new thing if you want. And then these 2 versions have, that's just as far as they got. Okay. So of course, now I would go to the folder to see it. Now for this, I think I mentioned it's not in there. The the third version, or the third promo, is not in the folder for whatever reason, and that usually means that it got deleted for some reason. If that ever happens in Resilio, what you can do is it keeps a backup of everything that you delete for 30 days, and it's in this hidden folder called the archive. So what you would do is you go to Open Archive, and it would show you what's been deleted in the archive. Here, we didn't delete it, so it's not there. And actually, I think that's the wrong folder. But I have it so that whatever hits this folder, I actually have it backing up to my Google Cloud or Google folder. So actually, the way I've been watching it is in Google Photos. So if I go here it is. So I do have it. So even if it got deleted, the backup was already here. So that's what I've been relying on. So just so you know, Patrick, if you deleted it, even if you did it by accident, you can always bring it back by going into the archive, and then you just copy and paste it back, or just move it back over. It's still in the folder. It's still taking up space on your hard drive. Just so you know, it's just there so that if you made a mistake, you can actually bring it back. And that means that whoever you're sharing the folder with can also bring it back. So we have that too, and it would be on the other computer for me. But here I'm just going to go with the one from here in my Google Photos, so that I can play it like this. Okay, so this is version 3. I got some notes or whatever. Let me turn this up. I think you'll be able to hear it just like I can. Let's see. Let me go to the beginning. I'm sure you have some questions.
Why the fuck are you here?
I traveled 12 years into the future.
I want to go back. Is it time?
No, be ready. Okay, so this is our sci-fi short film. It's about 20 minutes long. It's called The Butterfly. Um, and this is the promo for it. And it's a movie that takes place mostly in one room. There's also a bathroom shot. There's a pool shot, and there's a walking up to the hotel room shot. But mostly it's all in one room. So a lot of the footage is limited to those spaces. So this presented its own challenges. So let me just start with the beginning here. First of all, overall, good job telling the story with the use of the dialogue from the actual film. The purpose is not to explain the film in any trailer or teaser because you don't want to give away stuff that would be pleasurable for the audience to just experience when they're watching it. You want to just create curiosity and just kind of let the viewers know what the subject matter is. So you're starting off very specific with "Do you believe in time travel?" which is pretty good, pretty. Um, that's fine. It works. Let's put it like that. And also, well, let me just focus on what we hear first, or the dialogue first.
I'm sure you have some questions.
It's a good line. It's a good pick.
Why the fuck are you here?
Very good. It kind of gives us an idea of the relationship that these two people are going to have, so that's good. So I like that you chose those two spots. Those are good choices.
Travel 12 years into the future.
Also a very good one to choose because now it just reinforces that this is about time travel. We don't need to say anything else about time travel for them to understand that that's what this is about from this point on. This is fine. It creates curiosity because it's like, what's in the briefcase? Before, an earlier cut had the actual shot of what's in the briefcase, which would take away the mystery of it for the film. So that's why it was a good idea to go to the shot where you can see from behind and not see what's in the briefcase, and rather you see the reaction. So that also creates curiosity. So that's a good element to use in a teaser as well. So at this point, we're 19 seconds in. Teasers can be short. They don't have to be any particular length, just enough for you to get your point across. What's this about? Why, why is it? Create some curiosity, create some excitement, create some energy to make you want to watch it. But the key to a teaser versus a more traditional trailer is to use less footage, be less specific, and create curiosity. Just create like, I wonder what more there is to this than what I'm seeing, because you don't want to show too much, and that's what we want to avoid, because a lot of trailers these days just put so much footage into the trailer, there's really no surprise left. All right, so we know about time travel, we know about the relationship that these two people have. So far at 19 seconds, we're doing a pretty good job. So the question is, how are we going to end this, or what else can we say before we exit out? So let's see what else we have here. The thing on the bottle here.
I want to go back.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Yeah, it's still recording. Okay.
Is it time?
I want to go back is another reference to time travel, which is not necessary because we already know that this is about time travel.
Is it time?
It's not a bad thing. It's just so that you're aware, it's not a necessary thing either. And it's a cool line. So if you can use it, it's fine. The only question you want to ask once you've already established your premise is, does it take away from what I'm trying to do? Am I eating up the clock just with information I've already given out? Those kind of considerations. Give me 1 second. Let me put some light over here. It'll look kind of dark in the thing. It's a little better. Okay, so let's continue.
Is it time?
Is it time? All right, now here's a change of scenery here. We're not in a hotel room, then we're back in the hotel room. Is it time? Another. Now, what I like about Is It Time, even though it's a clear reference back to time travel, is now we're talking about procedure or how time travel happens, and or what it is that they need to do together in order to make this happen. And that's a new thing. Before, we just had the reference of I traveled into the future or I want to go back, that's fine. Here we have them actually doing something together. So that's interesting because that's a new concept so far within the teaser that we've created. That's a new thing.
No, be ready.
Now the issue though is the fact that we have to go to the bathroom. Now the only problem with that is, like I said, most of this takes place in one room. The stuff that we do go to, like the pool scene and the bathroom stuff, that has a little bit of time on it. We'll kind of want to use it sparingly because we want to leave some surprise for the movie because there are so few surprises after, besides the room, besides the revealing of the time machine, and the pool stuff. There are so few surprises that, yeah, it makes our trailer or teaser look good. And that's generally what you want to do in a teaser or trailer. You kind of want to show different things that create more curiosity. But in this particular case, with this particular film, we have so little location footage to choose from that we got to just be very mindful. So if you're going to go to the bathroom, which you're going to the bathroom because you need that dialogue. And so far, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be in there yet. You want to go in there as just like you approach the briefcase. You don't want to show everything. Don't show the whole bathroom. The shot here I like it because it's focused on her and it's not really showing much else. Like it's not showing where exactly she is. We probably think she's in the bathroom, but that's just a blank wall behind her. She could be anywhere. So in this case, using our second location with a shot that only showed a little bit of it is a good move.
No, be ready.
All right, now that exchange is fine. Now here's the issue with it. We're getting a little repetitive with where we are with using the location here within the room. Now I understand that this is the way that the conversation goes to make sense and stuff like that, but just know that repetitiousness is noticeable in trailers or teasers. And once our ideal is to create interest and curiosity. But if we start to repeat ourselves in the trailer or teaser, this being a teaser in particular, then we give the indication that that's probably what the film is going to be, pretty repetitive. So you want to avoid that at pretty much almost any cost. If we can establish our idea, create curiosity, and even though it'd be a weaker teaser, without having and then accomplish that without including any sort of idea that it's going to be repetitive, we probably want that shorter one that cuts out the part that would make it repetitive, even though it kind of gives it more energy and adds more interest at the same time. Probably better to go shorter and simpler. In a lot of cases with teasers and trailers, the better idea is the shorter, simpler one. So possibly that. I'm not sure that that's perfect or that's the way that it should go, but I would say if you're looking to cut anything at this point, it would probably be this.
No, be ready.
The entire thing where she's in the bathroom, in the tub, and where he's answering back, "No, be ready." It's interesting because I'm wondering, like, what is it that they're doing? What's their procedure? What's happening? Is they doing the time travel? That's creating curiosity. That's what we want. But we have a little repetitiousness with that, and also we're revealing a location that we kind of want to save for the movie. So in this here, although it was a good shot to use as, here we go. Basically, the purpose of this is to do the actor's title credits beneath. Robin German and Joseph O'Connor, and then the last thing before we're heading out is now, and then we have the sound effect that can be related back to time travel. Okay, so focusing right now just on the dialogue, I pretty much like every choice in there. I don't just because there's repetitiousness visually with the part that I was talking about here with the exchange between these two, doesn't mean that we can't still use this. Like, we could cut away from this footage and keep the audio. Like, you can go to either some stock footage or different footage from the film, like a close-up on when he was looking at himself in the mirror, for example. or anything else. So in other words, just listening to the dialogue, it makes sense. I like the entire arrangement of the dialogue. It tells a story, it creates curiosity, it doesn't give away anything specific about how they time travel. The only issue with it is just the repetitiousness of going back to the hotel room for him, and the fact that we are revealing more of our location that we want to save for the movie, although the focus on this smaller area of that location is a good choice. So you either could cut this exchange, or if it messes with your flow too much, if you want to kind of keep it, maybe either take out this footage and keep the audio, or just cut it. But one thing that I was mentioning, like let me see if I can get the footage of him at the mirror. So in the full film that you have access to, and pretty much everyone has it, like so you share back your folder with TFN, and kind of on the root of that editor's exchange folder, we have the whole film right here. That's good, friends. It's Butterfly here. So it's in the Resilio sync. Consequently, you have everyone else's folder. And don't worry too much about that right now, because there's not much in the folders if you're worried about space. But you should have an external hard drive. If you're doing any kind of editing work, you should have the external hard drive anyway to store your stuff. And also, just for conveniently, if we have a meeting or something, you can bring the hard drive, and you can, instead of bringing your whole desktop computer, that whole thing. But so, like, in the beginning of the film, he comes out of the bathroom because he's just time traveling, and he's looking at the effects that it's had on him. He's soaking wet. He's looking at his hair. He's got bruises. Austin, the director of this film, told me that bruises are kind of the side effect of time travel, is kind of the concept that we're going for. But when you're having that exchange that I was talking about in the trailer or teaser between these two,
Is it time?
No.
you could have him saying that, but have a shot of him doing that instead. That way you can not have to worry about the repetitiousness of this hotel room, and also save some of the visual surprise of that different part of the location for the bathroom for the film itself. So you can go to this solitary thing. Oops. It's on the hard drive here. And show this while that dialogue is happening. And that's fine. That happens a lot in trailers where people are not talking, but you hear the voiceover of other characters happening.
When I first jumped, I went 12 years into the future.
Or you can show a little bit of this. Maybe not that, because it has a time machine in the background.
I lost.
You could cut to a little bit of their close-ups. In teasers and trailers, close-ups are one of the things that are used the most, because, like I said, the purpose of the teaser versus the trailer is you want to reveal as little as possible. So close-ups reveal less of your location and a lot about your subject and the amount of emotion they're going to go through in the film. So this here is not quite a close-up. This is like a medium shot, but like we do have some close-ups in this film. Maybe not that.
So simple, but
Must have been difficult at the time. When I first jumped, I went.
But like that.
Just of how all of this.
That's a good one. But he's talking in that, so maybe the voiceover when he's talking in one shot doesn't work. But this would be okay. A lot of the other room is in dark. We got to be mindful of repetitiousness in a lot of different dimensions, not just like the location that you're at being repetitious, but also the kinds of shots that we use can also be repetitious. So like if you have nothing but medium shots of your characters, for example, in your trailer, that's repetitiousness. You kind of want to go from medium close up to focus on like an artistic shot of like a clock ticking or something like that. For example, I don't think we have any of those in this movie. But like these different shots where maybe they're not saying anything and you can just put the voiceover background from the other thing in there. That way you're still telling the story. So that would be my suggestions for as far as the dialogue, keeping the dialogue the same, but just taking out some of these problematic visuals for it. Otherwise, I love the visuals. I wish we had more locations other than the hotel room, because these are fine. It would be fine in a bigger context with if we just had more locations, but because we're dealing with a limited set, we kind of have to reveal as little bit of it as possible. All right, so I made my point on that. Now let's move on to the sound effects or the music. First of all, good choice of the mood music. Let's do music and sound effects. It's kind of gives a severe tone about something serious about to happen. So overall, it continues the whole thing. So that's a good choice there. Let's go to sound effects real quick. This hollowed, deep wind, deep tunnel, whatever sound that's happening in the front is good, because it's kind of giving us the feel of time travel. You're giving it a voice. And I like the way it howls in and howls out, kind of nice and smoothly. The clock I think that's built into the shot.
I'm sure you have some questions.
There's no reason for the ice at that point. I think that's just part of the shot that you picked out. Like, we don't see ice, so it's like a little bit of why do we hear ice? So just keep that in mind.
I'm sure you have some questions.
Why the fuck are you here?
I traveled 12 years into the future.
Now that is an issue. So we cut back to our time travel portal footage here, right? Which, by the way, good choice there.
12 years into the future.
And we hear it's like this eraser sound effect. So it really kind of breaks the tension, and it breaks the mood, because it's kind of like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to fit with everything else. It's a little bit crude. And it's there just because you cut to the other shot. We don't need it as a transition, and I don't think that particular sound effect is related to what we're doing. It's too specific is one thing. It's definitely not related, because it's obviously like either a pencil scribbling on a notepad, or it's an eraser. It's probably a scribble. You can probably cut that shot a little bit. It doesn't need to be that long. I'm supposed to be on just the sound effects right now.
I want to go back.
Again, do something about that sound effect. Doesn't fit.
Is it time?
No, be ready!
I do love the time travel sound effects. So that's cool. I dig that. I know it's built into the thing. All right, so keep that, because it's kind of our out. There is a question about like what should we show when that sound effect comes, because before we had the part where she slipped into the tub, and it's a good shot. That's just perfectly the shot that you want to use for that sound effect in that moment in the trailer. The problem is, like I said, we're revealing the tub and how the time travel works at that point in the teaser. So that's the reason we have to switch that. In place of that, we have the part where he's remembering a equation that she has tattooed on her arm. Now, unfortunately, that is a little bit of a reveal, because that's kind of how he remembers to how to correct the issue that comes up with the time machine. And the time travel sound effect is so specific to something happening that you kind of want to see something happen, or at least not something not happening. So we don't see time travel happening there. We do see him remembering. Now you could say that is a sound effect that works with him remembering the concept of whatever it is that happens in that movie. And then it does kind of fade from one part of the shot to the other at the same time. So you can say that's where the sound is motivated by. But it just kind of, we see that it's not really anything happening with the characters themselves other than he's remembering, and then we go back to him again. So we have that issue of repetitiousness where nothing changed. He was remembering something. We cut to the tattoo, and then we go back to him. We're not giving any new info or creating any new curiosity here. So we probably don't need to use this shot, or probably even not even this sequence. If we can avoid showing the tattoo, probably best, because it's so pivotal to what gets us from, he has this issue that he needs to solve really quickly to he solved it. And it's because of this. So maybe not put that in for the same reason that we didn't put that the bathtub shot in. What to do instead? Well, an option might be to use some type of stock footage. Like, we do keep cutting back to this portal footage, right? But it's, we don't have to cut back to the same portal footage. We can also alter the portal footage to make it either speed up a lot, and that way it can kind of go with the sound effect, which sounds like something speeding up a lot. You could do that. You can use different stock footage to go with that sound effect, or you could just lose the sound effect. So the issue there is we do have a sound effect, which is cool, which is nice, but it demands that we see something that goes with the sound effect. So either take away the sound effect or we put something there. And if you're putting something there, you don't actually have to use the film footage. You can use some stock footage just like this, or take this and alter it, or take some other stock footage and use that, or take that other stock footage and alter that and make it speed up. Because ultimately, I think this is the sound of something going really fast. This is how they accomplish the sound effect. Okay, so that's the sound effects, right? Let's talk really quickly about titles. All right. I don't know if I actually talked about this already in the beginning, but I'm going to go ahead. So these are the first titles we see. Do you believe in time travel? I love that because it is curious and it gets to the point of this is a movie about time travel, right? And do you believe in it? That is going to make you, it makes the person think about, well, do I believe in time travel? Like, do I believe it exists? Probably not. Is it possible? Maybe. What if it does? That's the ultimate question that they're going to wind up at. So good use of that. The size and type form here. Generally, I would say big text that goes all the way across the screen like that is a bad idea. However, I'm loving the color. It fits our color palette, I believe. Let me double check. We always try to fit in the color palette if we can. So this is the color palette that the movie's supposed to be based on, right? It did drift away from it when we actually filmed, but like yellow is in there. So, and it kind of goes with the blue, which is fine. Now, I don't think, let's say you use this. It's not bad. I like the message and I like the color. I wonder if making it smaller, fitting it in a smaller space, would just be a more stylish and a little bit better. But this works. The whole thing is this works. You can leave this. If you want to try to improve it, see if making it smaller makes it look better, you can. You don't need to change the color because this fits the palette, and I think the yellow looks okay. If you're going to change it, maybe white, because generally speaking in trailers, white text is good because it doesn't draw attention. You know what I mean? You don't want to distract people with text and stuff all the time. In this case, it's kind of appropriate because A, it fits the color palette. B, it's the first thing you see. You don't really have a reference to say it's distracting from anything because you don't see anything else yet. You do see this portal footage, but it kind of complements the blue with the yellow. So let's say that this works. That's where we're at with the text right here. It works. It does have a problem. So let's see the problem real quick. You guessed it. So when we transition away from the portal footage, to two different footage. We go to a widescreen, we go there, and then we go to his wristwatch. It's still there. That should probably cut with the transition of the footage. So it should probably be gone by here. This is I like that this is in between this and the other thing. Good choice there, but it needs to be gone there because it just kind of looks like it lagged, and that's when it starts to distract. So before we didn't have anything to say that it was distracting us from anything. Now we have this wristwatch, and then we have that text on top of it. So we don't want the text to be here at this point. I think it should probably cut with the portal footage here. Let's go to wristwatch. So let's go to our next
Sure, you have
text.
some questions.
So basically,
Why the
Sure, you have some questions.
why the fuck are you here?
I traveled 12 years into the future.
all right. So we have the footage with the portal again. These are probably the best areas to put questions like, do you believe in time travel? Like, what if you could go back? Like things along those lines, right? So when you go back to here, you don't have to put any text here. As a matter of fact, it's shorter than the first time that you use the portal footage. So you can just go here and use that as a transition to the next part of the trailer. But if you're going to put text here, it probably is appropriate on the portal, on those portal shots. We're not going to see text again until we get to the bathroom. So let's go to the bathroom.
I want to go back.
Again, there, no text, just a transition.
Is it time?
All right, now we're going to, is it time?
No, be ready!
All right, now we have the actors' titles, credit titles. So Robin German, the lead actress. All right, so let me just be straight up. This is too low quality. It's not going to work. If you look real closely, the text is outlined. It has these green bleeding in there. It almost looks like it was cut from something, but for that reason, it just looks a little bit. This probably definitely shouldn't be spread across the screen like this. There are times and ways to make titles work when they're spread across the screen, and even in a situation like this where you're introducing the actress and titling her at the same time, I don't think it's going to work out in this case. Number one, the quality is so noticeable here. So we definitely want, what we're thinking about in the quality of this film is, would you see this in a theater? Let's think about it like that, right? Now, it's not the best looking film in the world, but when it comes to text, we can definitely do better with text. The thing I do like about this text is the color. You did go for blue, knowing, I guess, that you already went for yellow, and blue is still in the palette. Well, it's not in the palette. We do see blue in the film. It's not in the palette. I do like that you went for a color. But in this shot, it may not be necessary. So if you want to title her, which is, I think, the only reason to have this shot here, because it's just a good, this is this actress shot here. You can title her and probably make it smaller and like maybe put it over here in the white or something like that. Definitely the transition here is going to hurt it. Let's go to the next shot real quick. And then we have a shot here where you can probably put his title like right about here, right? So then the question is, okay, well, what kind of title are we looking for, or are we asking for? I'm not asking for anything specific. I'm only asking for something that's going to work and something that, to the best of your ability, is the way that you feel that we should go. Here, I'm just pointing out that this is not going to work because of quality issues. It just looks noticeably off. It just looks like it's just put on top here, and this green is bleeding into it. So I normally only title white when I'm doing stuff like this. I would only do white and maybe some stroke to outline it, some drop shadows and sometimes, depending on what what we're working with. But here's probably where you want to put it.
You have 67% of backup left.
Thank you. Here's probably where you want to put it in this area. I don't know the font that you should use. I think in principle, the title should be not distracting. So in this case, it's just to give the actress her name, something, I don't know, something not distracting, not too stylish. Don't go too far in any direction, maybe, or too far away from what you started off with in the beginning of the teaser. So this looks like it's the same. It might be the same font. Looking at the E's, the L's there. It might be a little different, but something regular like Arial maybe or something. I would put them all in caps, right? I would probably do all caps and just do a really plain, if it were me, because I like minimalism, I would probably do all caps, white, maybe outline it a bit against the white here and just put it there. Or actually, I would probably use a color against a white like this, but definitely something not distracting. Probably stick to the color palette as best you can. But here's where you want to be. Not try to not be distracting. You don't need it to be so big like this. Big works sometimes, and I'm not saying you can't make something big work here. The issue here is the it's so big that it's easy to see the quality of this text, and it's not good quality. So that has to be better quality somehow. I'm not sure what the issue is with this, how this happened, or even if this is just placeholder. That might just be there. Just, I'm going to put something better there later. I'm just putting it here now. I can understand that. But this definitely is not passable. We can't put a teaser together with this kind of font on it because it's just so noticeable. But something here would be fine. And your other solution is just don't put it in. Like, you don't have to have the shot. You don't have to put the actor's title there. It's just something that you can use to kind of eat up the clock, because sometimes teasers feel like they should go for a certain amount of time, like about 15 seconds is a good teaser or something like that. Depending on how you execute. Teasers need, they build up just like anything does. They build up and they have momentum and then they climax, right? So if you need to eat up clock with a shot with the actor's titles, it's fine. I would put it here, put it not distracting, put it something that works against the white. And then the last thing is a transition. We cannot transition this way. You have the other actor's credits coming in while we still have the first actor on the screen. And I've never seen this in any Hollywood film. And I'm not saying we're trying to be Hollywood, but we definitely got to try to aspire to a certain standard. So I would probably cut this, just like the issue with the first title, where it stayed on too long. I would cut it with the footage that it comes in on. So the footage that it comes in on is hers. When you switch from this shot, that text probably should just cut. You can do a fade. It needs to either fade really, really fast or just cut with the shot. For sure, don't fade in his thing on her shot. You can fade in on each shot as fading in, but just be careful about the timing of the fade. Definitely don't overlap shots with the titles. And when they cut away, they probably either should fade really fast or cut with the shot. Your composition, so I would probably put it here. So it'd be smaller. The same issues with the quality here. It looks like I don't know. It just doesn't look like good text quality. I struggle with titles, actually, to be honest. I normally don't focus on titles because in Premiere, it's hard for me to do anything like any animation, or anytime I animate, I just use one of these programs that kind of has a lot of templates and animations built in. I use Filmora, Wondershare, instead of Premiere. When I do Premiere, it's just going to be very simple, very plain, not distracting, just very, very minimal is what I would do if I'm doing text in Premiere. Otherwise, I go to Filmora Wondershare for my for title animations, they have a lot built in. So I just pick the font, I pick the size, I pick the color, I pick how it's gonna kind of come in speed wise, and it does the rest. So I would recommend that. Let me know if you don't know what that is. It's in the group description too. Okay, so yeah, definitely pretty much the same critique for this as the previous title. Let's go to the last one. All right, so the actual title of the film being The Last Shot. I liked when you use the one that had some blue flickering in for like one of the other promo versions versus just this plain black, yellow against black here. This works, but I think the other one was better. So here's the context I'm talking about. Here's the let me see. Let's go to Patrick. Let me see if it was the first one or version 2. It's not the first one because 1.2 doesn't have it. Let's go to 1.3. Sorry, 2.2. 2.2. Definitely not that. Sorry. I think it was the very, very first version. So like just 1.1. Let me see here. Here we go.
I want to go back.
Good shot. I love that shot. All right,
I want to go back.
Maybe this one.
I want to go back.
Oh, it's before. So yeah, with the earlier promos, you go to the end and then you have a little tag shot after the last credit, which felt right, but it just I can't remember what the issue was with that. So that's when we had the bathroom or the bathtub one. So it wasn't in that one either. All right, let's go to the first version 2. Here we go. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I think this one is better. I just like the background changing and flickering like that, because it's kind of like the flickering of a butterfly almost. It just has more character than just the black against the yellow against the black. So I would use that if I were you. Now that's the one that's actually built into the film itself. So if you wanted, you can just do your own title, and the title teaser credits are easy to do, in my opinion, because you just put text against some kind of background. Like here's one that I did for something that it was also sci-fi. Let me see, what was it called? Dream State, that's what it was. Let me see, Dream DDDs, where are my D's? I kind of did like an intro for Dream State. Here we go. Let's see this one. And basically, all I did was take a bunch of stock footage and put some text on it. Let me see here. So yeah, I took that and I just layered on the text on top. I'm not saying do exactly that, but I'm just saying, like, if you need a background for it and you don't want to use the one that's in the film, you can just do your text, try to get it as close to the text, the font used in the film, and get a background that you think looks good behind it. For me, this had a lot to do with math. The science of it had a lot to do with math, and then like psychology. So I was using these ink blots in the thing. You know, the things where the psychologist shows you, like, what do you see? And they're trying to figure out how your mind is perceiving things that it can't see clearly, to figure out what your biases are. And that's why I was using that there. And then I have this coming in. And I'm trying to create curiosity with this in the same way that we're trying to do that with the trailer, with the teaser. And then I go to my end. So here I have a simple text against some kind of background. In this case, I animated my colors. All I did really was blend my text with I think I just opposite blended with the background that it's going against. So it's just doing it with the film that it's sitting over. And I just try to go with like a traditional whites for the very last one. So you can do that. You can grab like footage and use it as background. Just make sure that any stock footage that you use, make sure it's royalty free. Make sure that we can't get stuff taken down off of YouTube or Facebook because we're using copyrighted stuff. So make sure it's definitely something that is royalty free, Creative Commons, something that allows us to use it any way we want. So, okay. Other than that, so good storytelling, use of the dialogue, good music, good portal footage. Let me see. Get rid of the eraser transitions, sound effects transition. Either get rid of it or replace it with a different sound. The title works, good color transition. You may look into making the title smaller, seeing if it feels better. You can also look into the font. You can see if there's a better font to use than this, because this is distinctly different from the one that we're going to end with, which is this. So maybe try to go for this. Now what this is, I think we put the font in the folder. Oops. Editing team. It's in there. Should be in there. Yeah, here it is. Futura Bold. And for those who don't know, you can get fonts on thefont.com, thefont.com. There are a bunch of free fonts. Just download them, use them. This one's on there. It's called Futura Bold. I think it's on there. It may not. If it's not on there, just Google Futura Bold, download free, and just get it. Or just, get the Resilio sync folder, and it's in there. You can get it out of Patrick's folder. Just so nobody's confused, you can't go in and change anyone else's stuff. So when you share a key back to TFN, it should be a read-only. So that way you can put stuff in the folder and take stuff out as you please. And from our side, we can only copy. It'll just be copy only. That way we can look at each other's resources and folders and stuff, but not make any changes that affect the creators. So TFN, basically the way that we have it set up is TFN is going to share a big Resilio sync folder, right? And we can put in the stuff that we need to share with everyone in that folder. We call this the TFN Editors Exchange folder, right? Now, what you do is you give us a key to a folder where you put stuff in folders, and you only give us the read only. So we're going to give you a read key. That way you can add stuff to the folder. That way we get it, or read and write key. That way you can add stuff to the folder and we get it. But you share back with us your folders read only. That way, when we put it in here, somebody else, like say whoever else is an editor, because we have more people on the team that just haven't added folders, they can't go in and make and like accidentally disappear stuff, like delete stuff. They can just view and download it if they need it, right? And the same vice versa. And that's kind of how it will work. And then there's this other folder that we have that is that I'm gonna get ready to share with everyone. I think I already have the link up, but it is so I got all this sound effect packs and stuff. So if whoever needs it and doesn't have it, and we're doing sound work or we're doing tech trailer work or we're doing anything, I've got Singularity Sound Pack. I've got Ghost Hack Cinematic Essentials. I got Tension Cinematic Trailer sound effects. I got a bunch of these things, and you can use them. It's fine. And basically it's stuff like this. So let's see. Let's look at these drones real quick. So here's a sound effect. Right? That's just one of the sounds. And we can use that for whatever's appropriate. So, and where that is, we're doing everything through Discord. So make sure you get Discord. Or if you're reading this or seeing this, you're on Discord. There's desktop. You can get it on browser. You can get it on your phone. Just get Discord. But in the team channel, the editing team channel, there's a place at the top. There's basically, for every channel, there's a channel description, and that's what we use to put all the links that we have. So in the channel description for editing team, we give you the link to download Resilio Sync. We give you Editors Exchange folders. So that's where you can put stuff in folders for us. So when you edit something and you want us to get it, put it in your folder, give us a shared back thing. But this is the master that has everyone's in it. So this is what you use to get the footage that you need from us, right? So this is the key that you plug into your Resilio Sync. And this will have my folder, Patrick folder, basically all the editors folders in there for small files. Like, we're not going to have a whole bunch of big stuff in this particular folder. This is just when we want to share finished stuff. Finished stuff is going to be in the editors exchange folders, and every editor has a folder in the exchange, which is all just finished stuff. So like teaser trailers won't take up too much space. But and then here it is. So here's the key for the common resources folder. This is where we TFN are going to share sound effect stuff, free stuff that we have. We may even put like the code for, or like something for like an editing program in there. We can easily drop stuff into this folder as a resource for everyone. Let me make sure this is still recording. Sorry. Yep, still recording. So in your channel description, there's that. Editing platforms. We don't provide a key to Adobe Premiere Pro. Ask me if you need the program. If you don't have an editing program, which you should have one if you're an editor, ask me and I can see if I can help you out with that. And here, Wondershare is free. Well, it's trial, but we can give you the key to unlock it. I can tell you how to get the key. Loom. All right, so how I'm recording this whole session, which, by the way, whenever you can record editing sessions, please do so. There's two ways that we recommend. The best program takes the best computer. That would be OBS, Open Broadcast Studio. It's a free open source program that's available to everyone online. Here's a link to download it, obsproject.com. And it's got so many features. It runs pretty well. But here's an easy one here. It runs out of your browser, or you can get the desktop version. It's called Loom Screen Recording. OBS's advantage is, like, when I'm going off my screen, I've got 5 screens here. When I go off my screen on Loom, you don't see it. OBS, though, when I go off my screen on OBS, it switches screens so that you see what I'm seeing on whatever screen my cursor goes on. So that's what I like about OBS, but it does take a little bit more, I don't know that it takes more resources than the other, but I know that it has that feature. So if you want to try these both out, please do so. I like Loom because it follows you. You can get it in your Google browser. So whenever you log in to any computer and you log in on Google Chrome, it's there and you can use it directly from your browser. Or you can get the desktop version for Loom, and I have it here, and it works without the browser or with the browser. And the last thing is editing team playlists. Let me show you that real quick. This is a YouTube playlist that we have where, let's say you record a editing session, right? Number one, actors love to see it because they need to know about, like, sometimes we run into problems where their reactions are not consistent with cuts that we're going to, or the continuity is off, or they're just making mistakes that us as editors, we can see very clearly. And when they watch editing sessions, it's good for them to get that. So here's a playlist that we created on YouTube where just by having the link, you can actually add videos that you want through this link. So right now, I'm pretty much the only one using it, but this link, if you follow it, it will let you add the videos. So where does this playlist show? It actually is a portal on TFN's website, and also the actors have a link in their channel to view editing sessions. So they can see when, let's say I was editing this one, Park Bench, right?
And we're back. TJ here for Chem Film Network editing team.
And if you cut in, these are long sessions, so they're supposed to be long. They can be hours. They can be hours long if you want. But it just gives the actors insight, so they get better when they see the critiques. And they can understand, like, oh, that's why they say, you know, always never break the 180 rule, or, you know, watch your continuity and stuff.
Nothing to air my feet.
You know what? No.
And you don't got to talk the whole time. They like watching you edit them so they can see their faces on the screen. So
Survey that we have going on.
Okay, repeat.
I was tired that day. So let's say you record that. You can go to that link and just upload the video. That way they can see it, and that way we can see it too. We edit. It's a lonely job, so it's good to see each other work. So there, we have all the resources and stuff like that. So Patrick, good job on the trailer so far. Again, try to pay attention to the versioning that I was talking about. So I had thought that there were two teasers with different versions, but I guess there's just three. If you say three, there's three. If there's only two versions, make sure that you just keep it 2, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. Right now, I'm just going to assume that promo 3 is promo 3. So I'm just going to label this promo 3. Keep in mind also it's not actually in the Resilio folder. It somehow got deleted. And the only reason I got it is because my computer automatically uploads anything that comes into my Resilio to the cloud so that I can see it on my phone. Here we go. My face went away. So that I can see it on my phone. But yeah, so just take those notes. Let me know if you have any questions. The eraser, let me see, the last thing, actor title should be improved or just left out. Attempt to, stock footage, probably. Oh, one more thing. So I did mention that you could use stock footage, right? So a really good use of that would be in the beginning, establishing shots. Like we don't have any establishing shots. So there's this. This is kind of just our transition in, just straight into our hotel stuff in here. And that's fine. That works. But an example of stock footage that you can use is any establishing shot of like a city or like any place, right? That's just, even if we didn't shoot it, it works. So like here's one that I found, right? This is a movie called Tenet. Now pay attention to the first shots that you see in the beginning of this trailer. This is like a 2 minute, 10-second trailer. Warner Brothers. Oh yeah, you can do that too. You can put TFN's logo. It's an establishing shot, right?
We all believe we've run into
And then they go into their footage.
the burning belt.
But the first thing you see, to give context to, kind of want to see my face. The first thing you see to give context to everything else that you're going to see is the establishing shot to kind of give a sense of where they are or where the story is taking place.
We all believe we've run into the burning building.
And we go into that.
Welcome to the afterlife.
Need some.
So just like when we're shooting and we have to have establishing shots to kind of give the audience a sense of where we are when we're shooting stuff, kind of in teasers, it's the same thing. We're still storytelling in teasers, just it's on a really, really small scale. So we still kind of have to have the fundamentals of establishing, then we go to coverage, tell our story, and get out. So if you want to put in an establishing shot, like something like that would be perfect. Just keep in mind for us, I would try to match it as close to the actual hotel location outside, which we show in the film. Try to keep it close. That way, we still have the option to use the same shot that you use in the teaser in the movie itself, and also your teaser so that it's not at odds with. So it's the beginning. That's where I got that from, or he got that from. Here we go.
We're gonna have to figure it out.
This is the only
Fix
shot.
The bug.
This is the only thing that we see. Oops, move that out of the way. Can't see my face. This is the only thing that we see outside of the hotel room is her walking up to the hotel room in the breezeway.
I will not cancel this launch. What?
So it's not really specific about where she is. We know it's tropical climate because we see palm trees.
Well, the investors will have a report.
So maybe you can there's footage of Tampa. There's Miami. You can use that. There's a lot of stuff, but it shouldn't be too hard to find some aerial skyline footage. At night probably makes a lot of sense. During the day wouldn't make a lot of sense. So at night or twilight makes sense
Of daily active users after we're up and running.
because this is taking place mostly at night. The whole film.
All right.
Lights are on outside. It's obviously at night.
I'll see you after I leave tonight. I'll be back at the office. Okay. Bye.
So yeah, so I would say just add you want to use some stock footage in the very front. So if you decide to cut off some stuff that I was mentioning before and you want to add some footage, stock footage to eat up the time and just establish location, that works. You can do that. And that's pretty much all I got. Those are my thoughts. If you have any questions, let me know in Discord. Please use the channel. You can message me directly, but sometimes it's a separate thing to go outside of the server. So this is a server. Here's all the channels, right? Everyone's got the lobby. Editors have this in addition, and everyone's got the events, right? I would just post, as long as it has to do with editing, you can just post it in the editing team channel as a response to the thing that I'm going to do. So I'm giving this video, but I'm also just going to outline the proposed changes here, just like I did in the earlier rendition. You can message me still if you feel like it doesn't pertain to the rest of the team or if it's completely unrelated, but I kind of want to see some more. I want everyone to be more active in Discord. It just kind of keeps the energy circulating. So you can just post whatever response you have in there. That's fine. Keeps everyone else on the same page. And let me know if you have any issues. Anyways, thank you. Hard work, doing a lot of hard work. I've been pretty busy. I've got a lot of other responsibilities. Like I have to coordinate everything that we're doing here with Austin, who's the director. He's actually editing still the film with Malcolm. Shout out to Malcolm, and with Jay and me. I was helping with titles. But yeah, for other projects, I'm going to make another video just kind of as an update for the whole team. But this has just kind of been centered around the teasers for the Butterfly. So if you've watched this long, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you need anything or need help with anything. If anyone's having any issues with Resilio Sync, we found out that some people have the wrong time set in the bottom of their screen. And they need to fix that because Resilio Sync sees that and it'll make it not work. So thank you. If you have any questions, let me know. And catch you later. Safe editing.